Hello, everyone. Welcome to Speak Without Pressure. Today, we will talk about something very real, something that happens to many people when they speak English. That moment when your mind goes blank. You want to speak, but you don't know what to say. Maybe you know some English words, maybe you understand a little, but when someone talks to you, you freeze. Your heart beats fast, and you think, oh no, what do I say now?
Yes, this feeling is very common, and you are not alone. Many English learners feel this every day. Even people who study a lot feel this sometimes. So today, we will help you feel calm and confident. In this episode, we will practice simple and real sentences. Sentences you can use in real life, at work, with friends, or with strangers. You don't need perfect English. You just need something to say.
Let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a conversation like this? Someone asks you a question in English. You understand the question, but your mind says, I don't know what to say. This happens because we feel pressure. We want to be perfect. We want the right words. But English is not a test. English is a conversation.
Exactly. When you think too much, you stop speaking. Your brain looks for the perfect sentence, but perfect sentences are slow. Simple sentences are fast, and fast is better in conversation. So today, we will show you something very important. You don't need a big answer. You don't need many words. Sometimes one simple sentence is enough.
Here is a secret. You don't need to be interesting. You don't need a good story. You don't need strong opinions. You only need to keep the conversation going. Many learners think, I have nothing to say. But this is not true. You always have something to say. You just don't know the simple sentences yet.
Yes, and this is very important. Conversation is like a ball. You don't need to run with the ball. You just need to pass the ball. Simple sentences help you pass the ball. For example, when you don't know what to say, you can say something very easy, like, I'm not sure. That's a good question. Let me think.
Let's imagine a real situation. Someone asks you, what do you do? Your mind goes blank. You feel nervous, but you don't need a long answer. You can start very small. You can say, well, I work in an office.
Yes, that's enough to start. You don't need details. After that, you can add one more sentence, like, I like my job, or it's a busy job. One sentence opens the door. Two sentences keep the door open. That's how conversation works.
In the next part, we will give you magic sentences. Sentences you can use anytime, when you're nervous, when you're tired, when you don't understand everything. These sentences will help you relax. They will help you sound natural, and they will help you stay in the conversation. So don't go anywhere.
Yes, stay with us, because in part 2, you will learn what to say when you don't understand and when you need time to think. These sentences change everything. Now, let's talk about a very common moment. Someone is speaking to you in English. You understand a little, but not everything. Your brain is working hard, and you think, I need time. This is a normal moment. It happens to everyone. Native speakers, too. So the first thing to remember is this, and the good news is, English has very simple sentences for this moment. You don't need to be silent. You can speak while you think. It's okay to take a moment.
Yes, and this is very important. Silence can feel scary, but you don't need to be quiet. You can use thinking sentences. For example, you can say, "Let me think. Just a moment. That's a good question." These sentences are powerful. They tell the other person, "I am listening, I am thinking, I am still here."
Now, let's talk about another situation. Someone speaks English very fast, or they use words you don't know. You smile, but inside you are lost. Many learners think, I need to understand everything, but this is not true. In real life, you don't understand everything, and that's okay. Instead of panic, you can use simple sentences. For example, "Sorry, can you say that again? Can you speak more slowly? I don't understand this part."
These sentences are not weak. They're strong because they show confidence. They show you care about the conversation, and people usually like to help. When you ask clearly, they slow down, they explain, they repeat. So remember this: not understanding is normal. Asking for help is smart.
Now, here is something very important. You don't need to say a lot. You don't need big vocabulary. You only need to react. Reaction is the key. Even small reactions keep the conversation alive. For example, you can say, "Oh, really? That's interesting." These are short sentences, but they are very natural. Native speakers use them all the time. "I see." "Oh, wow."
Yes, and when you use them, something magic happens. The other person continues talking. You don't need to carry the conversation alone. Conversation is teamwork. Sometimes you speak more, sometimes you listen more, and that's perfectly fine. Let's practice together. Imagine someone says to you, "I'm learning a new skill." You don't know what to say. Your mind is empty. But you can react. You can say, "Oh, really? That's cool. What kind of skill?"
Exactly. Simple reaction. Simple question. Now the conversation continues. Notice something important here. You didn't need perfect grammar. You didn't need many words. You just stayed present.
Many learners feel tired when they speak English because they try too hard. They try to be perfect. But English is not about perfection. It's about connection. It's about people. When you allow yourself to be simple, you feel more relaxed. And when you feel relaxed, words come more easily.
Yes, pressure blocks your mind. Calm opens your mind. So when you don't know what to say, don't fight your brain. Help your brain. Use simple, friendly sentences.
So far, you learned something very important. You learned that silence is not the enemy. You learned that simple sentences are enough. And you learned that you can stay in a conversation. But what happens when the conversation goes deeper? When someone asks your opinion? When they ask how you feel?
That's where many learners freeze again. And that's exactly what we will practice next. Simple ways to share your opinion. Simple ways to express feelings, even with basic English.
Stay with us because this will make a big difference in your real-life conversations. Now, let's talk about another moment that makes many people nervous. Someone asks you what you think. They say something like, "What do you think about this?" And suddenly your mind freezes again. You may think, "I don't know how to explain. My English is not good." But here is the truth. You can start very small. You can start with one feeling, one simple idea. That is enough. You don't need to explain a lot.
Yes, and this is very important. Opinions don't need to be long. They don't need details. They just need honesty. For example, you can say, I think it's good. I don't like it very much. I'm not sure, but it seems interesting. These sentences are simple, but they sound natural, and they invite the other person to continue.
Feelings are part of every conversation. We talk about work, we talk about life, we talk about problems and good moments. And many learners think feelings are difficult, but feelings can be very simple. You can say, I feel happy. I feel tired. I feel a little nervous. I feel excited. You don't need big words. Simple words are real. Simple words connect people.
Yes, and when you share a feeling, something changes. The conversation becomes warmer, more human, more relaxed. People don't expect perfect English. They expect real emotion, and simple sentences do that very well.
Now let's talk about a very common problem. You know what you want to say, but you don't know the word in English. This moment feels very frustrating, but you don't need to stop speaking. You can keep going. You can say things like, I don't know the word in English. These sentences help you move forward. They show effort. They show communication. It's like, how do you say,
Yes, and people usually help you. They say the word, they explain, and now you learned something new. So not knowing a word is not a problem. It's an opportunity. It's part of learning.
let's imagine another real situation. Someone asks you, how was your day? You don't need a story. You don't need details. You can answer simply. You can say, it was good. It was busy. It was a little tiring. That's enough. If they want more, they will ask.
Exactly. Short answers are not rude. They're normal. They're natural. Conversation grows step by step. You don't need to jump. You just walk slowly.
Confidence doesn't come from big sentences. It comes from small wins. One sentence, one reaction, one conversation. Every time you speak, you teach your brain something new. You tell your brain, I can do this.
And the more you do it, the easier it becomes. Fear becomes smaller. Words come faster. Speaking English is a journey, and you are already on it.
You now know how to react. You know how to ask for time. You know how to share a feeling. You know how to give a simple opinion. But there is one more important thing. What if the conversation feels awkward? What if there is silence?
That moment scares many people. But silence is not the end. There are simple ways to handle it, and that's what we will talk about next.
Let's talk about silence. Silence happens in every conversation, even between native speakers. But many learners feel scared of silence. They think silence means failure. But silence is not bad. Silence is just a cause, a moment to breathe, a moment to think. When there is silence, you don't need to panic. You can say something simple, something natural, and you can use silence in a smart way.
Yes, and this is very important. Silence does not mean you must speak fast. It means you can slow down. For example, you can say, So, well, let me think for a second. These sounds and sentences are normal. They give you time. They keep the conversation alive, and they feel very natural.
Sometimes your mind feels empty. You want to speak, but nothing comes. In this moment, don't force yourself. Use safe sentences, sentences that work in many situations. You can say, I'm not sure what to say. This is a little hard to explain. I need a moment. These sentences are honest, and honesty feels good. People understand.
Yes, and when you say these things, you relax, your body relaxes, and your brain starts working again. Pressure blocks words. Calm opens words.
Another great trick is asking a question. Questions move the conversation forward, and questions don't need to be hard. You can ask, "What about you? How do you feel? Can you tell me more?" These questions are short, but very powerful. They shift the focus, and the conversation continues.
Yes, and this helps a lot. You don't need to talk all the time. Listening is also part of speaking. When you ask a question, you are part of the conversation, even with simple English.
Let's imagine a real situation. You meet someone new. They say, "Nice to meet you." You can smile and say, "Nice to meet you too." Then you can add one more sentence, like, "How are you today?" That's it. Simple, friendly, natural.
And if the conversation slows down, you can say, "So, what do you do?" Or, "Where are you from?" These are classic questions. They work, and they give you direction.
Confidence does not come from big grammar. It comes from practice, from trying, from being okay with mistakes. Every time you speak, you grow a little, even when it feels hard, even when it feels strange.
Yes, mistakes are part of learning. Pauses are part of speaking. Silence is part of conversation. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present.
Let's take a moment and breathe together. If you are listening now, you are already doing something great. You are listening to English. You are staying with the conversation. Remember this: when you don't know what to say, it does not mean you are bad at English. It only means you are human, and this happens to everyone. You don't need fast answers. You don't need perfect sentences. You need simple words and a calm mind.
Yes, and today we learn something very important. You always have options, even when your mind feels empty. You can say, "Let me think." "I'm not sure." "That's a good question." These small sentences are powerful. They keep you in the conversation. They give you time. They give you control.
Imagine this. Someone asks you a question in English. You feel nervous, but instead of freezing, you smile. You say, "Well, let me think." You take a breath, and then the words come. This is progress. This is speaking English. Not perfect, but real.
And the more you practice, the easier it becomes. Your brain learns. Your confidence grows. One day, you will notice something. You will speak without thinking too much. And that moment feels amazing.
We want you to remember this feeling. Calm, safe, without pressure. You don't need to say everything. You just need to say something, and that is enough.
Thank you for spending this time with us. Thank you for listening. And thank you for trying. Keep practicing. Keep speaking. And be kind to yourself.
This is Speak Without Pressure, where English feels natural and your voice matters.
See you next time. And remember, it's okay to pause. It's okay to think. And it's okay to speak slowly.